By subscribing and following our channel, you can be informed about the latest occurrences that took place around the globe. As for today, our reports comes from Eastern Europe. The invasion of Ukraine by Russia is already in its fourth month, and fierce fighting is still going on in the east and southern region of the ex-Soviet country. It is reported that in the country's eastern region, the Ukrainian armed forces have successfully repelled Russian assault operations. The Ukrainian 80th Separate Air Assault Brigade has destroyed a tank company of Russian troops in eastern Ukraine. The relevant statement was made by the 80th Separate Air Assault Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine on Facebook. In a shooting battle, when repulsing the enemy's massive offensive in the eastern direction, the paratroopers and additional units destroyed 12 Russian tanks. On July 6, 2022, they also burnt an enemy tank. Hence, over 2 days of battles, they have destroyed a tank company, and even more, the statement reads. According to the statement, most tanks were hit with rocket-propelled grenades, NLAW, and Javelin systems. 2 tanks were destroyed with artillery systems. Still, Russia's attacks in eastern Ukraine, especially in Donetsk in recent days, have caused heavy damage. At least 7 civilians were killed in the last 24 hours, including a 17-year-old girl found under the rubble, local authorities said on Thursday. In Kramatorsk, which serves as Ukraine's administrative and military center in the province, a rocket struck a residential area in the center of the city around midday, killing 1 person and wounding 6 others, officials there said. The Institute for the Study of War said in its Wednesday assessment that while Russian forces may have initiated an operational pause in Donetsk, it did not mean that Russia had ceased active hostilities. Instead, the report said, Moscow's troops will likely confine themselves to relatively small-scale offensive actions as they attempt to set conditions for a more significant offensive. A spokesman for Russia's defense ministry confirmed that assessment on Thursday, saying at a news conference that Russian troops had been given an opportunity to rest, in order to replenish their combat capabilities, according to the Russian state news agency TASS. In an interview with CNN on Thursday, President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine cast doubt on whether Russian forces were pausing at all. He said it was clear that Ukraine would not recapture all of its lost territories, but rejected the possibility of officially ceding land conquered by Russia in exchange for peace. He also vowed that Ukraine would regain some areas. The Ukrainians are not ready to give up their land as new territories of the Russian Federation, he said. This is our land. We have always said this, and we will never give it up. Mr. Zelensky questioned what Russia had gained by its capture of Luhansk province last week. I don't even understand what exactly they're controlling there. They ruined towns and schools. They are the occupiers of the rubble? Moscow is now turning its attention to Donetsk province, which lies southwest of Luhansk. After victory in Luhansk, military experts said that Russia would rotate troops out and bring in fresh ones. A report on Thursday by British military intelligence said that while heavy shelling continued on the front line in Donetsk, Russian forces had made few advances and were likely reconstituting their operations. Since April, after its forces were routed from northern Ukraine, Russia has narrowed its focus to capturing the whole of the Donbas region, which comprises the Luhansk and Donetsk provinces. Russia's strategy has been to pound its targets for weeks before launching a ground assault, a method that worked in Luhansk province. The head of Donetsk's military administration, Pavlo Kirilenko, said on Thursday on the Telegram social messaging app that civilians died in the city of Siversk and in 3 other locations to the south. 2 more people were injured, he said, without giving details. Later, Alexander Goncharenko, the mayor of Kramatorsk, said a Russian airstrike hit the city's center. "We are investigating the consequences," he said. "Rescue services are working. Stay in the shelters, the danger has not passed." Kramatorsk, along with the nearby town of Sloviansk, are both in Donetsk province, and the cities have been targeted by multiple artillery strikes in recent days as Russian forces have turned their sights on Donetsk after capturing the last city in neighboring Luhansk province. Ukrainian officials have urged the remaining population to leave ahead of a full Russian assault they believe will start soon. The New York Times reported that the city of Kramatorsk was devastated in April when a Russian missile strike hit a packed train station, killing more than 50 people. Kramatorsk originally had a population of 150,000 people, but the city began emptying out after the missile attack. Still, thousands remain, though the city would be directly in the path of a new Russian offensive. Volodymyr Tarasov, a 66-year-old retired engineer, was drinking a cup of tea in his kitchen on the 4th floor of one apartment building when the rocket hit. "There was such a bang, and this is the result," he said, showing his wrecked apartment. His head was heavily bandaged, and his neck and back were cut and bleeding from the shattered glass. Mr. Tarasov lost his wife to a stroke 18 months ago. Now, he was afraid for his only other companion, his cat of 8 years, who disappeared when the attack landed. "It's so bad, the feeling in my heart, I can't express it," he said. "This is a complete horror." But he said he did not intend to leave Kramatorsk. "I don't want to leave," he said. "Everywhere was dangerous in Ukraine," he added. "You can't escape fate," he told the New York Times.